back to Clash of the Rams, the sports talk show. I'm Jeremy Hayes here with Davison Perez, Eric Russo, and Ryan Chevy Chevalier. All right, guys, we're going to jump into our next topic, and it's the Patriots, world champions. They're looking at a little bit different this season. So, guys, what do you think? Losing Revis, but getting Jabal Sheard. What do you think about this upcoming season? Sure.
Well, yeah, they did lose Revis and some key pieces, Browner, Will Fork, but overall, I think what just separates them year after year is you have the man at the helm, Tom Brady, and really the division has been mixed up where the Jets have added, Revis and Cromartie. And then you have the Bills adding Marshawn Lynch. So other teams are getting a bit better, but what do they not have? A quarterback. And that's what year in, year out always decides it for the division. And really, it still is the best, like the most important position on the field. And if you don't have that, I still think they're at the top of their game and they're still going to be all right.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, they separate the Patriots. But the difference last year to 2007 and 2011 when the Patriots lost Super Bowls was that they had a secondary. They had Darrelle Revis, they had Brandon Browner, they had a defense that was near shutdown against good offenses. In 2007 and 2011, they didn't have that. Even though they had Tom Brady, even though they had a high-powered offense, they couldn't win the Super Bowl. So are we back to that now that you've lost Revis and you've cut Browner? Are we going to be back to the secondary that's bend but not break, and then in the big games can't get it done? And unfortunately, I think that's the point that we're back at.
Yeah, I totally agree with Eric. I mean, you got to scratch your head at all of these moves that they've made. The secondary is not what it once was. If you expect to continue, besting the Seahawks, who obviously are one of the teams to beat coming next season, you're not going to do it with just Bradley Fletcher, Robert McClain, and Chimdi Chekwa. See, I can't even remember their names because they're just you don't really hear about them on a normal basis. So if you really think you're going to keep up with some of the top teams in the league, in the division even, with all of the moves that have been being made in the East, I don't know.
All right, I got to cut in with this because we're talking about like how the Patriots, how they were unsuccessful for 10 years because they had this type of defense that we're looking at now that they're evolving into. One big thing when we would play like the cover 2 defense, the bend but don't break, is that we didn't have a pass rush. Now all of a sudden Chandler Jones is a veteran. We brought in Jabal Sheard. We still have Ninkovich, who's a key player. He had the most snaps out of anybody in the NFL. So I think, of course, we didn't want to lose Revis as fans. Nobody wanted to lose Revis. But once that happened, you have to get over it and start moving on with moves. And I think they made the right moves. Burnt toast Bradley Fletcher, who gets burns on every place. He's not going to be playing man-to-man. He's going to be playing zone now. So we're going to see a different player within all these guys.
To address that point,
yeah,
I agree that the front seven is going to be solid. There's no question that you got Chandler Jones, you got all those names you mentioned, you got Mayo,
Jamie
you got
Collins,
you got all those names that you mentioned. I totally agree with you there. But what happens then when you face a quarterback like an Andrew Luck or like a Tony Romo? Let's go with the Cowboys for example. They have such a great offensive line that I can't imagine Jabal Sheard and all of those names that you mentioned getting to Romo. And what happens is they also have a deep threat in Des Bryant, who will get into that second level of the defense. And when you have all of these no-names as cornerbacks on our team, Bradley Fletcher, for example, let's flash back to when Philadelphia faced the Cowboys. And Bradley Fletcher got straight up burned every single time by Des Bryant. How are you gonna keep up with that with just Bradley Fletcher and having Des Bryant getting into the second level of your defense? And not only just the Cowboys, but other teams with deep threats, with quarterbacks who can fling the football. I don't see that ending too well for the Patriots.
Just one quick thing. I'm not convinced of one area of the defense picking it up for the other. You should have a full complement of a good defense, a good pass rush, a good secondary. Now they're going to depend on the pass rush, which has never been great. It's good. It's much improved. But it's never been great, and you need to have a great pass rush if you're going to make up for a now average secondary again. And I don't buy into you have Malcolm Butler now. Malcolm Butler made one play that will go down in history as one of the great plays ever, but he is not Darrelle Revis. Let's step back and realize what you now have in the secondary. It's Malcolm Butler, it's Alfonso Jennard, it's Logan Ryan, guys who are good complementary players when you have a guy like
third
Revis.
guys. Yeah.
But now that Revis and Bronner are gone, those are your top guys. That's not what you want.
And let's be honest here, the Patriots literally just want to, this offseason, they want to depend on their offense. They picked up Scott Chandler to go with Rob Gronkowski. They obviously have Tom Brady. They're depending on their offense and on Brady and on Bill Belichick to get things done and put points on the board. And at the same time, Robert McClain, totally great special teams player. So that just tells me that they're going to depend on offense and on special teams this season. And the defense is going to be a thing of just 2014.
And Stephen Ridley will be back too, off of his injury. So we'll
If
have
we re-sign him. Assuming we re-sign him, nobody else wants him, it seems like, or they would have grabbed
But we'll
him.
have plenty of running backs. We will have almost that Aaron Hernandez and Gronk kind of combination with Chandler and Gronk. So I think they're going for scoring more points than the other teams, basically.
Real quick as we close out, just the thing I wanted to say, when we lost to the Giants the second time, we were the 32nd pass defense. Everybody talked about how bad they were. We only gave up 14 points per game. Because it's bend but don't break. Don't let them score. Give up as many passing yards. Let Aaron Rodgers run around like crazy. But don't give up points.
They couldn't do it at the end when they needed it, though.
Exactly. That's the
difference.
concern. That's the concern. All right.
But hey, they're Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, so it's still, they still get to enjoy that for a couple more months. But I mean, obviously, the whole Revis situation has fans down, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. All right, stick around. We're going to talk about the Celtics up next. So see you then.